Where does the recording?
It goes to the cloud and then I get a link to it after the fact.
And that gets posted on my website?
Yes.
Will you put the recording on or just the printed minutes?
The recording.
You will.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Claire, director's report?
There for all time. Director's report. Everybody can see the corner of our wall. This is nothing compared to the reading room. You just started 2 minutes ago. But the repointing guys are on it. They have, after, gosh, how many years did we spend trying to find someone who could identify the problem? Yeah, but you were the one who was in on identifying the problem. They've decided that, when they put the new roof on 20 odd years ago, they didn't have enough of an overlap where the stone comes down at the edge of the roof and then there's a capping stone or something that goes flat, and it's where it meets here. That there's not enough overlap and they have to put flashing in there because right now the water hits that point and it just pours right down the edge of the building. And
So the flat one isn't sloped at all.
the flat one isn't sloped at all. So what they're gonna do are take those stones off, put in flashing,
Yeah.
put the stones back on so that when it rains and the water comes down the stones that are going this way, it will flash away from the building, not directly onto the stones.
Have they put in the cost of that repair? Because that wasn't in our estimate.
That wasn't-
Finding that then.
Right, that wasn't in the original estimate. And no, they haven't quoted it. Although I don't think it will be, because they're finding they added 25% to each side of the building. And they're finding that some sides will be saving money on, so I think that it will all come in at the same quoted cost.
So is the damage, excuse me, is the damage that we're seeing due to rain or them pressure washing?
Due to rain,
Oh,
yeah. Because even just today, we had that 5-minute storm
Mhm.
earlier today, and we went out and had a look at it just after the rain, and you can see on the corner of the building, it was absolutely sopping wet. All the stone around it was bone dry, but right there at the corner was totally sopping wet.
You mean the outside wall?
The outside wall, the outside stones. Yeah. So, and that just, it's such a soft stone, it penetrates right through.
Should we be doing this sooner rather than later? We're gonna just keep getting water to
They're working on it now.
They are doing.
They're working
I
on
thought
it.
they said it, they were done.
No, they're doing it as they go around and they finished this, but they're coming back to it. Now they're gonna start over there. Michael has a guy working on his house doing something. I'm not sure what he's doing over at his house. He's gonna talk to him about coming over here and repairing this damage on the walls. And hopefully, my big concern is mold. I just hope there hasn't been the opportunity for mold to build up behind there. But this has been something that's been building up since they put the roof on 20 years ago.
So the other one was okay, right?
No, the other room is 10 times worse.
Oh, really?
There's gonna be more.
visible damage.
Yeah, in fact, we had somebody come out of that room the other day and say to the people at the circulation desk, you know, you have actual pieces falling off the wall.
The reading room. Did you ask for?
So, yeah, it's gonna be a big repair. But that's what it's all about. And the whole project is slated to be done hopefully by the end of September. But with things like this cropping up, I really think that we might well be into October before we're done with fall.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay, on another note,
let's start.
we have finished our sustainable library certification.
Finished?
Finished. We're working on the final project right now.
That's finished. It's been going on for.
I think it's been going on for 3 years, and we'll be the first library in the state to complete it.
Really? You get gold star.
You get a gold star,
Mm.
you get a gold star. I was emailing with the woman who's in charge of the entire nationwide program earlier today. And she emailed back and she said, fantastic work. Just one question. Do you have low flow toilets? Oh, I was like, oh my God, more problems with the toilets.
Just one question.
I know, one question out of the whole thing. So now I have to figure out if we have low flow toilets, but that's okay.
Is there any, do we want to report this to the grant committee that we're applying for the big grant to? Is there any benefit or is there a way to go back to them and say, hey, on top of everything else that we're, all the good reasons we're asking for money, we also want you to know that we've done this certification. Is there a way to kind of get back in there in one last, brownie point?
I don't think so. In fact, and thank you for mentioning that, we have not received word on this grant yet. And I don't know if everybody knows, but we applied in March for an enormous grant. It's $360,000, I think it was, or something. And we haven't heard yet. And many, many libraries applied for this grant. They had $16 million to give away. And just last week, there was an announcement that they're looking for a grants administrator at the Vermont Department of Libraries, somebody specifically to administer this grant.
No. What is that?
It's very specifically to administer this grant that they have yet to award to people or award to libraries. So I don't know if that's the holdup. I don't know what the holdup is. But the deadline, the application deadline for this grant was March 12th. And we still haven't heard on it.
Well, they said they were gonna let you know in spring.
At first they said it would be spring, then they said it would be spring into early summer, and now they're just saying summer.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know.
Yes,
It has to be soon, because there's another grant opportunity coming up. And the application deadline for that one is October, I believe. So you'd think they'd want to have this first one all wrapped up and done before the second one comes along. But we'll see.
Can I get back to the certification for a minute?
Yeah.
Just gotten. The, seems to me, in my memory, there was something that occurred when I was on board before. That was at first in Vermont, and that was wireless Woodstock. With the library putting in wireless Woodstock here, we became the first town to have an open,
Internet support for the town.
community. That you could not only come in and use, but you could sit conference and event sheet, do that kind of thing. I'm wondering whether or not it'd be worthwhile looking back a little bit to that and other things. And putting together a list of things that we had taken a lead in at this library. As for the future.
Right. Right. Yeah, we could look back and see. I mean, it was just two things. That's not really a list, but if we could identify other things, then that would be worthwhile. Yeah, we can look into that. That would be good. That would be good. Does everybody know we're losing Vanell? At the end of this week. Vanell is leaving. And so we're not replacing her, we are increasing the hours of other people that we already have and hoping that that will work for us. I think that it will. I really do think it will. So that's how we're responding, staff wise.
Can you remind me again, Claire, what is the total number of staff that is the desk?
And that does this desk out here. There's Kathy, Lori, Danelle had done 1 day a week. And then there are people who fill in. Liza does Tuesday evenings.
Rhea?
Rhea does Thursdays and Fridays. And that's it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
But the thinking is that Nikki could get more hours.
I'm thinking that Nikki can come up, and the best thing is that Sarah, who had been the children's library assistant downstairs and had left to go to Heartland School, wants extra hours. She said she was leaving, but then she came back and she said, I really would like to do 10 hours a week here.
Hmm,
So she's going to do Saturdays and Tuesday evenings,
that's
which
great.
is terrific, terrific.
That worked out well.
So with Nikki taking on a few extra hours if she's willing to, and Sarah coming back for 10 hours a week. Liza picking up 5 extra hours a week. Yeah, that's our replacement for Danelle. And hopefully that will work out. And I think it will. I think it will. Do you want to hold off on committees until after the fact? It's
Yeah.
really all I have unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, we will.
What First Amendment audits? And what is that? What
First Amendment audits. There's a group of people trying to prove that they have a right to their First Amendment, and libraries, I believe, are kind of easy targets. They go in with their cameras rolling and try to initiate controversy in a library.
What does that look like? Like, what are examples of?
Librarians will say, you can't come in here with your cameras rolling. You can't take pictures of people. And they'll say, oh, yes, I can. I have every right in the world. This is a public building. I can take pictures in a public building. And then they try to escalate the situation.
Does it help that we're an incorporated library and not a municipal library?
No, it doesn't help that we are. And they do have a right to come in and film, but not everybody realizes that. And they have really perfected the art of creating controversy. And the more controversy they can create, the more YouTube hits they can get once they post it on YouTube. And I have read that some people can make upwards of $30,000 a month in advertising revenue.
Really?
Yep. If they can.
Claire, who is the they exactly? Like who are these people?
You know, that's a really good question, Priscilla. I think that there are organized groups.
Okay,
There are also independent people. I don't have an exact answer for that.
okay.
If you Google First Amendment audits libraries, has
it happened in Vermont?
it has happened in Vermont. It has not happened here. Most recently it happened, I believe, in Springfield, I want to say.
And so what sort of,
And the best response is just to be really polite, to say welcome, be respectful, have at it. And don't give them anything, no fuel, so to speak.
Can you record kids?
They cannot record kids, so because that's a federal law.
Right.
They cannot go into spaces that are designated staff only. That's not to say they can't stand at the circulation desk with their video, going and take pictures behind the circulation desk. If a patron says to them, I really prefer not to have my photo taken or be on your camera, they can't photograph that person because it is in our policy that they cannot harass patrons. So if they then continue to photograph a patron, that's harassment. And then at that point, we can ask them to leave the library. But up until that point, I really believe the best approach is just to be really polite, be really nice, and just not give them any fuel, like I said.
How do you train the staff on this?
yeah,
Yes, we have actually.
safety and security?
Yep, we have.
But just if I could butt in, there's nothing official about these people. They're not
No.
government, they're not
No.
anybody, they're just coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Claire says, trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to monetize it. It's big business.
Okay,
What
so
else stuff?
so you would have a plan based on this.
Yeah.
training that they got about damage.
Right, yeah, we have addressed it. We've addressed it a number of times because it is something that crops up every couple of years. It kind of cycles through.
Yeah, I can't remember this before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You just deal with it as it happens.
Okay, thanks, Claire. Any more
Any
questions
more
for
questions?
Claire?
No?
Okay, Joe, treasurer's report?
Alright, it is bad, but. Ignore the second column, which has the percentages in it, I think it's still screwed up. But long story short. In July, it's only the first month, I don't think it. $1,350 from the appeals. 37.25 for book sales. A total of 6,262, expenses total 58,000. Obviously, the deficit will be $81,700. We also moved in $123,000, but that was determined largely because we had to write a check to Lazo for just about $90,000.
Right.
So that's gone in August. And bank balance at the end of July, we had $201,000. Morgan Stanley, $3,660,000.
Thank you.
Joe, would you be planning on having a line in here that would be this month, last year? Because
I never thought of this.
yeah, my remembrance is that our inflows are very erratic.
Right.
Okay, so if we had last year and this year, it might be more comparable to look at.
There is some report that has that.
I'll look at that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you do some digging? I think to get that.
Okay.
But the way I look at this is we do an annual budget. And then Jane always says, well, I do try to put month by month based on historic changes.
Mm-hmm.
So, cause it isn't. Obviously, we're not spending fuel and all that, stuff like that, so.
Actually, we did just have the fuel tank filled
Thanks for that.
in August.
So on the big financial, the detailed financial statement, there is it's broken down into all the good columns.
Right.
There's current, there's year to date, there's budget to date, and it gives you all those comparables that we need going month by month. So we we can get that out to the board, request or send it to everyone. Let's send it out, hit the keystroke, and it's usually current for us.
I ask committees looking at that on a periodic basis. It's not important that I see it then. Unless there's something that the finance committee says, whoops, we got a potential problem. That people up.
And that would be.
Well, yeah, but it's, we can send it out because it's interesting stuff. So if you look at it or you're inclined to, understand or enjoy the numbers, it really tells the story. There is some sense of, the month to month comparison and the budget. I mean, we kind of look at it on a quarterly basis. Because it just doesn't sometimes make sense, and it just is really not, as you know, it's the same, there's no real trend. Per se, but if you want that, we'll get it to you, and
Would everybody else like to see that?
I think we should be responsible for having, I just feel like we should have some responsibility for keeping an eye on it.
and I'm honestly not sure what we used to do, because the executive committee gets it, that's what they would send us. So I don't know if we did that to the board, Jay, or if that was just executive committee.
I don't know if Dave didn't send it out, did he?
No, but I don't see any reason not to.
No, there's no.
It's just
Yeah.
push a button and everybody can have it.
Right.
All right, good, yeah,
Let's do it.
numbers don't lie. Okay, any more questions for Joe on the treasurer's report?
Thanks for being the treasurer, Jack.
I did such a great job.
We love it.
I just want to apologize if anyone didn't get this report. Joe forwarded it.
Yeah, I sent it to everybody.
But somehow Mary Margaret was left off.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And we didn't get, I don't think I got it. Yeah, I apologize for that. I should check.
Well, I thought I.
Maybe,
I
I think you used
Hold
it.
on, I sent it to everybody.
Dave's on here, so I think it was just an old,
Oh, it could have just been.
and I should have double checked that when you did that. So anyway, sorry about that. I'll
Okay,
not do that again.
well, we're on the topic of sending things. Can I have the password for the Wi-Fi? Can you say that?
It's Woodstock with a capital W.
I should have guessed, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Thank you.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Any noes? Okay, the report back. Thank you. We have Elizabeth Wellington as an individual who has expressed an interest in being on the board. And we're gonna have Rachel give us a few thoughts and speak to Elizabeth's behalf.
Yes.
Let me just say that the plan is to, everyone has received Elizabeth's information. Just want to give Rachel an opportunity to speak. We'll ask any questions, gather any information that we need to gather at this point in time. It will be.
You three, you and who else?
Okay.
So then we'll wait until the following meeting, our next board meeting, to take a vote on approving or voting in Elizabeth's joining her door.
We will be here in the sheet seven for the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then she can jump right in.
Yeah.
We vote, she remembers.
Right.
Does that name come up before?
Just from me.
She helped with the vintage book sale recently, so we probably saw her name on the
Yeah.
list for that and
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we've been
met
talking about
her
her for a while.
when we had the last book sale out here on the lawn.
Yeah,
She was, you met her.
She was helping with that.
okay.
Yeah, so I just asked around for some recommendations of someone who might be interested because I wanted there to be another young parent on the board. Of course, we still have Bianca, who just happens to not be with us right now, but she is still on board, but I'm stepping down. And I think it's a good voice to have. She's also in Pomfret, which is one of our neighboring communities that uses the library, so that's another good voice to keep in mind what people are talking about, you know, in the neighboring communities. And I met with her a couple months ago and went over the responsibilities, and she wants to attend in person and is eager to join. You saw that she's loves books and loves writing. Yeah, so I think she would be a great addition to our already great team.
She sounds good.
Do you know what she's a consultant for? What did she do as a consultant?
I think when she says that, we should clarify with her, but my understanding was that she helped people shape their language, their pitches, like their writing. Yeah, and even their copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, possibly somebody who could help with grants.
Possibly.
Yeah, she does grant writing, but yeah, maybe.
She is my neighbor in Pomfret. I don't know her well. Her husband is on the volunteer fire department with my husband. I see now from this, she has a young child. I did work with the two of them and they were looking for a rental. And she's a very lovely person. I think she'd be a great addition.
Oh, that's
She certainly just cool, a nice background, I think, like English, very good instrument. I can use that too. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's great.
I guess my only question, I love Pomfret. But I was wondering, as a policy, has the board had a policy to just have Woodstock and, is it Bridgewater that?
I think it's a service area, right?
It's a service area.
Oh, okay, I just was curious.
So that goes down into Reading and Plymouth.
Yeah, you listed the towns for me.
Reading, Plymouth, Pomfret, Barnard, Woodstock. I don't know Barnard. Yeah, I think Barnard and Bridgewater.
And Killington wouldn't be on there because they have a library, but
Because they have a good sized library of their own.
Okay. So
Same with
let
Heartland.
bring your neighbors to our events and,
Mhm.
you know, and spread the gospel.
Yeah.
And I guess my other question is around, are we looking for a particular skill set at this point? I mean, I love, that you're finding someone to replace yourself, that's awesome. And then just in thinking about the future.
yeah, we're looking for.
Yeah, look for a treasurer.
Yeah. That'd be great.
That's really the price.
Yeah, I'm not an accountant, I mean, I understand accounting,
It was big.
As a bank, where I cannot read financial statements, but doing them is a different.
Yeah, that's an important role. So that's a very good question. Hopefully everybody heard that question and the answer, seeking a treasurer at some point in time. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah,
For
so
that
any,
suggestion.
welcome to email me too, if you have other questions.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
Signed up
I
to
have
help.
one question.
I hope that.
Yeah,
Still up?
Yeah.
I thought her statement was very powerful. The question I have now that I've listened to the pitch from you is, could she help us navigate the world of children's and small and young adult readers? You know, is that something you think she's particularly good at, just because it's as a mom?
Yeah, I'm sure she is. I will say I don't know that the library needs that. The children's librarians are excellent at, I oftentimes talk to families who say, I went and I asked for this book and they didn't have it, and they said, we don't have it, and they ordered it, and it became this whole thing, and now their friends are, like, I think that actually we're doing really well with that.
Okay.
But what is a similar theme to that, Priscilla, is that just the space downstairs, and keeping in mind how is the space working, and how's it working with young children, how's it working with story time, how's it working with teens, which Adrienne has created this excellent teen section. And that's probably what's primary on my mind, more so than the reading materials, just how is this flow?
Oh, that's really good to know. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I love that when she worked on the book sale, we talked a lot about how do you bring young families in to, to events and to fundraising, like, it can't always just be the gala and certain, demographic. We need to reach out to young families and get them included, get them thinking about, coming to stuff. So we were brainstorming ideas and she seemed eager to be part of that too, so.
Yeah, totally.
I'm always thinking of it in terms of fundraising events.
Right.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, Rachel. And if anybody has any questions between now and the next meeting, feel free to reach out.
Sounds like a good time. So career.
Okay, Claire, would you like to speak to us about our potential art donations?
Well, everyone has seen the two paintings that two separate families would like to donate. And that's lovely, and we would definitely be willing to accept both paintings. My big concern is that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 paintings that have been donated this year. We only have so much wall space in this library.
Some of it's crumbling.
Some of it's crumbling, yes, some of our wall space is crumbling. Maybe we could hide all these things with pictures, or we wouldn't have to address it. But that being said, this space that we're sitting in right now is fairly, I don't want to say it's underutilized because we use it for things like this, or somebody sits in here and works all day, or it does get used. But there's a lot of wall space that could be turned into gallery space. And I would love to see an art committee form. I have got umpteen paintings leaning against the walls up in my office. And with these new ones coming in, I just think it would be nice to somehow turn this room in particular into a rotating gallery of all the artwork in the building that is not being displayed. And advertise it as such. I also think it would be great. Over at the History Center, we have boxes of historic documents that the library owns. If we were to have a glass top enclosed case that ran along this wall over here, and we could display all these papers and artifacts and what have you. It would just be really interesting, and it would be a way of bringing people in. That being said, we have to form the committee and we have to have committee members and
Figure out how to hang out.
figure out how to hang paintings on a rotating basis so that we don't have a wall full of holes.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has any of that expertise.
Did you talk to Lori?
I sent Lori a long email. I tried to call her, I didn't get in touch with her, so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna email her and lay out my plan. I haven't heard back from her, but she could be out of town.
We're thinking about Lori Chester, who really, wow, the projects, I think you all remember, right, matter much, but, that was sort of their business model, right? I mean, art and.
Right, and so,
Fine
yeah,
art, so-
Lori Chester would be
And
great.
just giving us ideas for systems that you can use to hang the paintings or, you know.
Yeah, there's gotta be some kind of system so that we're not putting holes in the walls. I'm also thinking,
I think this idea.
oh, yeah, no,
And I think. If we could wrap the things you're talking about in an overall plan on how we utilize the library. Just, the same way we utilize it for books,
right,
totally different approach. And then you're gonna tell me, I would support that. I'd be happy to be on it.
I'm sorry,
I'd be happy to be to that team.
there we go.
Chairperson, done. Well, there's
If
a,
you know account, that.
the library has if I will, a great strong history of having some great artwork donated. And
Yes.
paintings, and it's very much a part of, I think, what the library is and how it participates with the community.
Mhm.
The tourists,
And,
a lot of tourists in here.
and that appreciation for all of those things. And in this case, there's some artwork that's included, which is, involves a local, longtime local resident who is also then a part of kind of the DNA of the library. So it's something that we've done, but we are tight on space. And so Claire brings up sort of 2 points. One is procedurally, we need a motion on accepting the artwork. We do that as a group. And then the segue into the committee's conversation where we were, we'll take a minute after this to talk to everybody about the committees that we have and make sure that everybody's familiar with those. An art committee has kind of been on the docket for a while. I know you've been thinking about it for a while, so it would be great to have
There have been art
passionate
committees
people.
in the past, but nobody's really ever pinpointed on putting together a gallery room.
Well, you have a great idea, so now we sort of have the seed of something
Right.
to work from.
It might be interesting to talk with the National Park Service. Because they have the mansion and they do similar kinds of things in the mansion.
Or even the history center.
The History Center has one going on right now, or a mini gallery in the room.
Your resource, you're finding out what they do and how they do.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
Emily used to work for the National Park Service.
right. She
She was
did.
a partner of the Smoking Bear Island. So she was actually the youngest in the country at the time. She was like 15 or 16 or something.
This is just the kind of thing that an art committee
It's
can spearhead and can start doing.
Right.
But we just need to identify members, even community members who might want to be on it, if anybody knows
Yes, that's a good
a
clarification.
community member.
Like, it could be.
They do not have to be board members.
Community member, yeah, great.
Yeah, that was a question.
And that goes for some of our committees, but not
Mhm.
all of them, I think.
Right.
And I think unnecessarily so, but I keep thinking about the pros and cons of accepting art, the cost of carrying it in terms of repair and framing, I guess some of they come framed generally, but there's significant cost to repair. So is the art committee gonna sort of look at that too? Well, I don't know, just
They
like.
can. We recently had paintings cleaned and frames repaired on some of the pieces that we already have. And the Friends paid for those repairs, which is great. It totaled well over $1,000 for just 2 pieces. So that was nice.
that's a huge
That's-
benefit.
That's a
because you-
good use of Friends' money.
It is, and you raise a good point, because I don't think in the budget, there's a line item for art restoration. So
No,
of all the things we have, there are some that are, call them needing some attention, but haven't really
Yeah.
budgeted for that, so far, so good.
And I'm assuming we don't have insurance costs for insuring, you were talking to talk to the insurance company.
it's funny you should say that because I did call the insurance company Thursday of last week and have been waiting for a call back. And I just had an email just before this meeting saying they had had a problem with their phone system. And he'll call me tomorrow.
They weren't using it, so. Is that the hook?
My insurance. $50,000 valued at $50,000, which is a town.
The insurance value of it is $50,000.
Right, but you know, can our committee decide also we're gonna sell some of this and to raise funds for the?
Well, the policy that we have in place in our policy manual says that, yes, once the painting is gifted to us, it's our painting.
Right.
And if we decide to sell it, that's on us. So you have to know that and sign a paper attesting to that before you gift it to us.
Are we now the owners of the Norman Williams infinite painting?
Yes,
Cause that one is a very expensive thing.
I have not found the paperwork on that yet.
Okay.
So I need to look into that. I know you told me that that was a very valuable piece.
Like,
So do we ask for a donation, we set piece of work, because, you know, to cover the maintenance, longevity.
We do not. We don't, I would say generally, we don't have that many that are that valuable. We do have a handful that are somewhat valuable. But we only have a couple that are tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
so it would be good to have a whole group who has the bigger picture to be thinking about, so it's not just all on you.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, to review all of these things.
It's a community and political hot issue for you when people are like, do you want my?
do you want my mother's portrait,
Right.
which is what we're dealing with two of them right now.
Yeah.
But I guess, like you said, the first place we need to begin right now is to take a vote and see if we want these two portraits that are.
Would someone like to make a
Offered.
motion?
I'll move.
Can
Can we
I,
accept
do you
them?
want the book done?
Yes, this one that's up on Mary Margaret's screen, I absolutely, I have to say, I don't love the painting, but I love the frame.
How would I, oh, I got
Good job with the dog, I think the frame is beautiful.
That's one it's actually.
Who is that again?
And that is, oh my gosh, I would say that,
Some, is it a Bragdon?
Bragdon, it's a Bragdon painting.
Yeah.
So currently, the artist of that painting has one piece at the Museum of Fine Arts. in
Right.
Boston.
And that's the one that has the insurance value of $50,000. And that was valued 20 years ago. So I don't know what it is currently. But that was done by a very famous artist. So yes, I think if it's being, if someone wants to give it to us, we should accept it.
Who did the Endeavor picture?
Nobody seems to know who did that one. Well, you've seen the story behind that one, that it was hanging in somebody's house and somebody said, where did you get that portrait of Anne? But we should have that too.
Yeah, I think a lot of man, she's still alive.
No, we cannot accept a portrait of one influential woman and not of another.
Right.
Will be a precedence that we're setting.
She was involved with the library quite a bit.
Apparently this other child as a woman was as well, just before any of our time.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the artwork. Is there a second?
Second,
Is there any discussion, further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Did you motion? Did someone else motion?
I move.
You motioned, okay.
Any noes? The motion passes. Thank you. Okay, everybody received in their packet the information regarding the committees, and what we wanted to do is just take a brief moment to see if anyone has any question about the committees that the board has. The committees are I don't know if you say staffed, but the committees have participants in them. And if anyone the two reasons for this was with a couple of new folks to the board, we wanted to familiarize you all with what we're doing committee wise. And secondly, if anyone who's in the meeting tonight is interested in any committee, should let any of us in the executive committee or let me know. And we're happy to talk through whether or not we can make that happen, or if someone else drops off, or how many folks we would like to have in that committee to make it run most efficiently. The art committee, we'll just jump to that. So the art committee would be a new committee where I think it would work, under the guidance of Claire, because there's, sort of this foundation work that would need to be done with the committee. So the art committee is ripe for the picking. If anyone is interested in
And
that.
Jack, you
I
want
think
to?
Jack said you'd be interested. That's great. You can think about it. So we don't have to put the pressure on anybody, but let Claire know if you're interested in the art committee, and that's great. I know we've been talking about that for a
Yeah.
while. The investment committee is the group of folks that meet with Morgan Stanley, and we meet with them on a quarterly basis. We go through the portfolio. It's not a very long meeting. We talk about the investment strategies of the past, the investment strategies going forward, and that's really all that is. Morgan Stanley, to the point of reference, has had a change with the representative from Morgan Stanley for Norman Williams Library, and those of us on the investment committee really like that person. So it's not a lengthy meeting at all, but it's an important meeting, and it's also very interesting with everything that's going on, and it really brings you into the fold of what's happening with the portfolio of the library. Okay. The finance committee is.
Before we move on now, I would like to be involved in that one myself. I have in the past run a number of portfolios and role not a banker. But from family and worked with Northern Trust, I've worked with Fidelity, I've worked with others on these, including some that are Vermont based. So as an opening comes up, but we visit in it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jack. The finance committee, also the numbers team, Joe's really responsible for a lot of things there, because it's working with Claire, putting together the numbers, or supporting the putting together the numbers for the budget. Thinking things through on a monthly basis, kind of keeps track of money in and money out, and it brings you to the next level in on what's happening numbers wise with the library. And it, do we meet, Joe, now? Can we meet?
That's just
We
some
usually
budget
need-
time.
And budget time.
Yeah, so it's not even
If something came up and you have to meet.
sure, it's not a monthly,
April, May, June.
but come budget time, it's crunch time, so we got to get into it. And then sometimes there's informal meetings that we'll get together and talk through some numbers, but that's a fun committee. One of my favorites. Buildings and grounds is headed up by Claire and Michael. And that is just what it says. It's wrapping your arms around everything that's happening with the building. The building committee was part and parcel to what's happening right now with all of the pointing work that's going on. And Claire, do you meet regularly on that?
We don't really meet regularly. Michael and I talk daily about it. Have we had meetings?
No, just when things come up.
When big things come up, or like when we were going with the repointing and who should we choose and finding the right company to do the job.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's not something we meet regularly on.
Important, but not time consuming. Personnel committee is a support to Claire when needed for any personnel or HR related issues, or whatever might be in that orbit, the personnel committee is there for, for support when needed.
Doesn't the personnel committee also reviews you, right?
Yes, I think that's been done once in 4 years.
Well,
So, yeah, I guess that all depends on who's on the committee.
Do that? I don't know. Wasn't that-
What committee?
Exactly.
No,
we reviewed your. No,
no.
It typically is executive committee with nonprofit girls.
Didn't we all fill out something recently, a couple months ago, didn't we all recently fill something out?
Yeah,
yeah, so,
You do.
But it is typically the executive committee that would be.
So there you go then,
okay, support is what it's all about for you.
right,
And we can focus on that more if you would like. Nominating committee is exactly what it says and assists in assuring that the board is that we have everybody on board that we need. And so so we have Joe that there. So, but when we look at something like the treasurer, it's a team effort. So we do have a nominating committee, but everybody can play a part in that search.
well, the nominating committee is mostly people that aren't on the board.
And are they active? Are they actively involved? I don't think so.
I send emails and everything like that.
No, I am, so I think that's probably, we could use some.
fresh people on that. And really, it is just all of us collectively coming up with ideas of people who would be good board members
And
and
that's what's happening.
giving it to you.
34 people.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You.
yeah, we.
Yeah, no, it's happened with half the board. It's,
Yeah,
Well, since I've been here, we have had no interaction with the nominating committee.
no, except for Joe.
yeah, usually I interview people, but you already did. Rachel.
Yeah,
Did a preliminary.
Usually, I mean, I don't say a lot, usually other than the library's in good shape, it's being well run by Claire. Financially, it's not, we don't have big issues. Cause some people get on, it's like we're walking into something that's falling apart here.
Right.
well, it's good to have the nominating committee idea.
Yeah.
Should we just check with the other 3 folks on the committee and see if there's still.
It's Jill?
Yeah, Jill, Carrie Cole, and Susan.
Yeah,
Is it worthwhile considering
oh, yes.
someone being the. But having the others be ad hoc,
Well, that's what
So
we
that-
have.
yeah, but I mean, then, to go find them when it's time for, when we're looking for new board members. Because the connectors in the community are the ones that are going to help
Yeah,
Oh, really? Helping out.
a set
Yeah,
committee.
yeah.
So Jill is my neighbor,
Yep.
so I do talk to her once in a while. Every call, I don't really hear about, I don't want to say anything. And then Susan Robertson is sort of new.
Mhm.
So her husband is Phil Robbins. I see you have him on the list for building committee,
yeah.
and he said he would do that, but
Right.
should be.
He's shown up for meetings about the building.
He does show up at meetings about the building.
Really.
This time of year, right?
Yeah. He is great. But he's not all that responsive to emails.
No,
So you have to email him a number of times before you. But that's just, some people just aren't. If they don't have to be on their email, they don't think of it.
right.
And so not always checking it.
Okay, so Joe will advise how the future of that group will
I will,
go forward.
which group?
Nominating committee.
Oh, okay. The one with building committee.
Yeah, see what they're interested in being involved in the future with it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
I mean, we're not looking for anybody now.
No, only a treasurer.
sure, the
And if
treasurer.
somebody pops up, just grab them. Read it.
But
Treasurer.
we're within the framework of the memo we said.
Yes, we are.
Even with Rachel.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yep,
Because Rachel would leave and Elizabeth.
right.
Okay,
Could we ever go out, like on posting of the listserv for a, since it's
I don't-
specific?
I think it's too many unknowns with something like that.
Okay, all right.
That would be my take on it.
Well, we have good contacts, we have good networking skills and the service is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, on development and fundraising, it's, that's exactly what it is. So fundraising is very important to us. It, the committee is, set. Anybody who's interested in doing that, we'd be interested in talking to you because, fundraising is a moving target and things are always changing and
And there's a lot of planning.
what we've done, yeah, what we've done in the past doesn't mean we'll do it in the future and
Kind of reimagine.
there's, yeah.
Yeah.
So that, I think, we would welcome anybody who would want to talk
Yeah,
About-
you know.
about that.
We're looking for alternatives to one annual event that can tend to cannibalize our other fundraising efforts. So how do we kind of branch out to other communities, but also come up with ideas that are community building and fundraising at the same time. So yeah, so we need ideas. And then people who like to be involved in putting them on too. So.
Right.
Yeah. And that's it. That is committees, the world of committees. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. And that concludes our agenda. Does anyone have anything else that they need to bring up? Okay.
We'll bring up one thing. Trivia night at the library Thursday, September 12th, 7 to 9. We have a professional trivia person who's going to be putting it on. We're hoping this will be a regular thing. Maybe we'll do it quarterly, but it's BYOB. It's free. We're going to have pub snacks sort of thing. You can come up with teams of up to 6 people, come by yourself and join up with other people, but it should be really fun. And it's part of our library after hours, you know. So
And if you know any 20 or 30 something,
yeah,
talk it up
Well,
amongst them, because we
build your
want it
team.
really to be intergenerational. And it's a great way, I mean, it's such a hot thing right now, and it's a great way to bring younger people into the library
and Thursday.
and hold it into, what's on the website? Yes, it is on the website.
Where will it take place?
Here, in the mezzanine.
Upstairs?
Mhm.
And how many do you expect?
Well,
We don't know.
I signed up, so now we have like 5 people, but
Great.
we don't know, it's the first time event. I'm thinking Thursday nights, BYOB, an actual professional trivia company doing it.
I would love to see 6 teams would be really my ideal. 6 teams of 6,
Wow.
I think we can do it.
I think the BYOB is what I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Tends to-
Sell off.
Tends to be our thing anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, so,
For their prizes.
Just one stupid question. It's at the library. right?
Yes,
Okay, all right, great.
opening,
at the library.
yeah,
What time?
7 o'clock. There'll be emails going up September 12th.
Donna?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed the date. I'm having a little trouble hearing some of it. The date is what?
September 12th.
September
Thursday.
12th. Thank you.
Yeah, our kids are supposed to be full, but we never have, right.
Good. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I think it will be exciting. I love the whole idea of the Thursday after hours.
Mhm. There's nothing else to do in town, so.
Right, so why not turn it more into a social club kind of?
And we're gonna
place?
use the hat, it's free, but we will pack the hat. We'll be sponsored for the first event, but we'll pack in the hat, hoping that people will want to keep funding it, you know, going forward, so.
Good deal.
Glad that event,
Right,
not necessarily.
Well-
Library,
no, it will be for the ongoing
but the
Thursday after hours events.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion for adjournment. Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Donna.
Bye, Donna. Bye, Priscilla.
night, guys.
We're adjourned at